My dear friends, happy 2023. If you're here, I want to thank you because it's been a ride in 2022. I hope you had the last quarter of 2022 really strong focus, good achievements, and great relationships with your friends. I want to thank you because I want to thank you for being committed to yourself and to watching these videos, to watching this training or listening to this as a podcast because you're a leader, you're an achiever. And I want to really treat this year a little bit special. I want to raise the game for myself in terms of how I produce the videos, how I produce my podcast, how I create my content. It's been a ride for over the past years, creating my own company and then kind of scaling it down because I couldn't really balance it out properly and doing perfect job or good job or excellent job with next to my normal day 9 to 5 job. And I decided also to talk about today this topic because we are still at the start of 2023 and I want to talk about this human nature topic. So on one side we have the human mindset, which says default belief survival, and then we have the champions mindset, which really dictates innate wisdom and excellence. And really human mindset is about first dibs, repeat history. If I was bad, I'm bad again. Unlike champions mindset, which is really final say and makes history. And I borrowed this framework from Dr. Jeff Spencer. He created an amazing framework and it's called the Goal Achievement Roadmap. And I have it actually on my vision board. And it helped me a lot in the 2 years ago. And I'm probably going to repeat it again now because I have challenging goals like yourself. I have my life goals, and then I have my 24-month goals, and then I have my yearly goals, and then I have my monthly goals, and then weekly goals and daily goals. And you can get really overwhelmed with a lot of that. So if you're like myself, you might be scaling some things down and you might be taking a step back and saying, you know what, I want to achieve, I want to be excellent. And this is really what I'm going through right now. You might not go through this, but I have noticed in the last, let's say 5 years, I have been very good at taking a lot of projects and doing a lot, kind of spreading myself thin and accomplishing a lot. But on the other hand, I'm also seeing like my personal brand. It's something that's been very lying on my heart, but I haven't really developed the focus and the energy and the time to dedicated that time to this. And this is what I want to change. But talking more about you, what's your 2023 gonna be about? Have you written a future letter to yourself? If you haven't, you can use the futureme.com if I'm not mistaken, and then read yourself a letter or receive a letter a year from now where you actually really go and discover whether what you gonna set out to do these times and this time of the year you're gonna accomplish as well. There are 2 or maybe even 3 things I want to stress out before we dive into this topic. 1, play the long game. We really overestimate how much we get done in 1 year and underestimate how much we get done in 10 years. Whether that's Tony Robbins or Warren Buffett, longer the view, wiser the intention, says Warren Buffett. And I really see that with myself. Older I get, more challenging goals I try to tackle, which means it requires more time. And you need to be patient with yourself, which goes together with the second point I want to make. Being patient and cutting yourself some slack is very important. I just had this discussion this morning with my girlfriend. We went for a breakfast and I'm already hearing myself complaining, saying, oh, it's a first week and I haven't even done that and this. And she's like, hey man, dude, chill out. It's a first week. You just started a new job and you're trying to build your business and etc. etc. And it's very interesting how we operate from the human mindset as human beings. And that's the second point I want to make as well, additionally, is having fun. Have more fun. This is something that I realized last year, that I'm very good at being serious, entrepreneur, corporate, professional, C-level, executive. And it's fine. It's all good, but it doesn't bring you happiness when you don't decide to have happiness. you can really get down on yourself because you don't go as fast as you promised to yourself. And that's the thing, if you're a high performer like myself, you don't compare yourself with others, you compare yourself with yourself. But sometimes then you start to see the things clearly if you really embrace the learner's mindset. You see those mistakes and you want to embrace it faster, learn faster. And this is also why I want to tell you guys, be kind to yourself. It's a game, it's not a fight. That's the third point. It's really a game. See it as a game. Enjoy it. Have fun. Laugh. Don't take yourself so seriously. And, like you see the flowers here. It's my favorite type of flowers from the times when I lived in the Netherlands. Tulips is, simple flower, yet provides so many different colors. You can crossbreed them. If you go ever to the Netherlands, visit Keukenhof. And that's the tulip field. There are obviously different fields as well, but it's a famous international field where you can see all the different kind of tulips. But let's don't get sidetracked anymore. Let's talk about today's topic. Let's talk about a human nature. And we see on whether that's your right side or my right side or my left, human mindset. We see the default belief, survival, first dibs, repeats history. Then we have what do I stand to lose? And then on my right side is the champion mindset, innate wisdom, excellence, first say makes history. And against that we have what do I stand to gain? So here already the first sentence, you see what do I stand to lose and what do I stand to gain? And this is what I want you guys to realize. When we operate from the human mindset, and which is really survival, which is how I don't want to get hurt. I don't want to be seen as a fool. I am new and everything should be perfect. It's often, we have to be very careful because I see it now with myself, with a lot of things. I want to tackle an MBA this year next to the studies I've done, just because I feel I need to be developing my business skills. And I still feel like there is so much I need to learn, so much, especially like from pragmatically, because I see myself as a pragmatic person. But also I see, very quickly it can be what do I stand to lose? And that's the human mindset instead of what do I stand to gain? The champion's mindset. I want you to think about 2023 and where you're going as a leader. You're a champion. That's your identity. And if you don't feel it like that, we can change that. You can change that. The second, for example, is I'm doing my best as a human mindset against I'll find the way, or I'll find the way. And the third, we can straight away say it's in my genes, it's in my power. You can straight away see that the human mindset often tries to find excuse. It tries to fall back on that default setting of our physiology, which is the fight or flight mode. If the tiger jumps from the bushes, we try to run away, the blood flows away from the brain into the limbs and we just sprint away. Unlike the champion mindset, when we take a breath, and Dr. Haberman, if you don't know him, he talks a lot about physiology and how breath actually can influence, and it's the fastest way and pathway to calm your body down. So breathing and breath is really something that I encourage you to do, meditation and all these different things like exercise. We need to develop this inner resilience to really operate more from the champion mindset. So as the champion mindset said, I'll find a way. It's in my power. I want you to think that you are in charge rather than your body's in charge, that the environment is in charge. If, like when we were in a pandemic, a lot of people complained, I complained, we all complained because we thought, it's external. But yet we could still influence how we think about the whole thing, how we deal with the disappointment that we cannot see our loved ones so often, that we cannot travel freely. We learned that life is very perishable. We see it now in the war in Ukraine. And that's where we see heroism. That's where we see championship. That's where we see unfortunately a lot of deaths as well, daily death and daily disasters and devastation of lives, and it changes us. So I want to encourage you to really see 2023 as a miracle wherever you live, even if you live in the tough conditions. It's in your power to change your life. Then we have, for example, if I were only like others, against I am my greatest asset. And then we have will and talent are enough on the human mindset, against discipline and readiness rule. And this is very important. I want you guys to really absorb this. We see as a human mindset, oftentimes we compare ourselves to others. And this is what I was mentioning. You want to compare yourself to yourself because you are your greatest asset. You don't see it immediately sometimes. Sometimes you need weeks, months, years, bumping your head against the wall, going through tough times, reflecting, and then it goes up, down, backwards, forward, up. Be patient because you are your greatest asset. And also, discipline and readiness rule or will prepare you to get stuff done. Which means if we think on a human mindset that will and talent are enough, oftentimes we underprepare. Oftentimes we think, from ego perspective. If you think about sport, and I give this notion a lot. When I did my bodybuilding competition about 5 years ago, I heavily underestimated the routine preparation of posing, being on a stage, and that's why I didn't, I would say, fit in the first 3 places, just because I underestimated the preparation. I thought I'm talented, which is often true, and it's enough, and my will to be there, it's enough. But then that's the human mindset, and we need to operate from discipline and readiness rule. Am I ready? Have I repeated 100 times so I can do it blindly? Can I, all these different parts of routine, and for every job, every test, every project, you need different preparation. But don't underestimate the power of discipline, daily habits. I know this is a lot of times unsexy topic for a lot of people, sometimes even for myself, because I know I can get into this robotic notion that habit without really thinking, is it still, panning out for me? Is it still important? But don't underestimate the power of champions. If you look at people who are on the highest level, Olympic Games, like Michael Phelps, those people know a lot of times their times, a lot of times all the gold medals and how they got there. And I think this is something I see with myself. I want to grow into that in the coming years, in the next 10 years, to really see, for example, for workouts, to take my physique to the next level, I will need to be more granular. I will need to go even deeper with my training and understanding what works and what doesn't work. And as a generalist that I usually am, it goes a lot against my will, because my will would be my human mindset with will and some type of overall plan. I can get there, but more granular you get, better results you will achieve. Human mindset is oftentimes about perfection. Champion's mindset, on the other side, it's 1-2 things that count. Another thing that human mindset does is, I'm afraid, so I won't even try. And champion mindset is really different. It says, I trust and I just do it. So think about it, human mindset and perfection. We like to prepare plans. We like to be overly prepared instead of taking action because we are afraid to fail. I see it with myself for years. To be part of a team where you're not afraid to fail is very unique nowadays. Companies that don't judge, people that don't judge you and really love you for who you are, embrace and hire you because you have something they don't have. It takes a mature leadership. And also, if you're listening to this, you know that as a leader, you need to be thinking like that. We are in a times where it's expected of us to play on the best level, the higher self. We cannot just hide and hope for the best. No, if you joined a team, most likely it is expected that you're gonna achieve on the highest level. That also means you, and this is what Dr. Jeff Spencer talks about when he trains the champions. He said, especially if we are in a pressure scenario, We shouldn't try to change the routine last 2 minutes before we step on a stage. We should do exactly what we have practiced. And I've seen it with myself. This is what I told you about bodybuilding. I haven't practiced this enough, and then I, blunted and blundered there with my kind of last addition and adoration or changes to the routine. Lastly, the human mindset says, I whine. The champion mindset says, I win. I really want you to embrace this. We complain, again, going back to complaining. In the Western society, we're very good at complaining. We think, okay, and this doesn't mean that we maybe mean it seriously, but it's just because we are doing well and we don't know, instead of finding solutions, we complain, I wish I have more resources, that this irritates me, that irritates me. But champion mindset says, I will win, I will find a way, I'll do it, I will make a way. And even sometimes we complain, we still go back to our default and say, okay, let's find a solution, let's make it happen. And the last part is really the human nature and mindset is really about, at the best, one act wonder, impulsive, frustrated, and mediocre. I think that sums it. And champion mindset is their rule: repeat winner, prudent, prolific, extraordinary. As we stepping into 2023, guys, I want you to really think about this. If you don't take anything else from this, think about human mindset is really about one act wonder. Maybe I succeed one day. It's impulsive, it's frustration, it's mediocrity. Champion mindset is really innate wisdom and excellence, and it's about being a repeated winner. And this is the hard part, doing the same thing and being able to achieve again and again and again. Prudent, prolific, and extraordinary. So I want to encourage you guys, like I'm encouraging myself, to think about this a little bit deeper. Think about this in the coming weeks and embracing this mindset, this champion mindset, and seeing in the situations, in the weeks, month, and this year, how you deal with these situations, whether you take ownership, when you feel bad, you take action, and maybe if you're tired, you go sleep instead of trying to override your physiology and your mindset. Listen to your body, listen to yourself. Your body is the best doctor. If you feel bad, if you feel tired, relax a little bit. Be easy on yourself, but also challenge yourself. Know that you don't need to do 20 projects. You can do 10 projects, or maybe 5 and maybe 3, and still being a good person. It's not about showing the world that, you can do everything. It's about being true to yourself. And this is the hard part, because that means you will need to throw away all the covers, all the blinds, and be honest about your blind spots, and not try to cover them to try to cover with perfection, and don't listen to your anxiety. We don't have to be perfect. We just have to be true to ourselves. So guys, I want to encourage you, because this is the start of 2023. So we really rock and roll, and that you have your best year ever. I know I say that every year to myself, but I know this is happening at my own speed, in my own time, and I know I'm playing the long game. It's gonna be better year than there was last year, but in its own way. And that's same gonna be for you. So I praise you. And as I always say, radiate positivity. Make sure that you have the energy to get where you want to go. Make sure you manage your wellness, because that's what will give you as a leader massive advantage. If you have the energy, if you have the drive, and if you feel well, and really lead a heroic and awesome life for yourself, and having fun each and every day will make you feel better. So stay awesome, stay legendary, and until the next time, we speak soon. Bye-bye.